Okay. Hello, dear friends. Good evening. Such a beautiful, beautiful evening. Let's continue to read this beautiful book, The Adventures of Odysseus. And this is the chapter 4. Or call it chapter 4 or the fourth part of this story. The Sack of Winds. Can you see it? Okay, let's continue. The ocean was calm. There was not a breeze on the ocean, on the sea. My men had to row until their hands were studded with blisters. They bandaged their hands. The blood oozed through the bandage. And day after day, they toiled. It was as if we were crossing the surface of a mirror. So the ocean was as flat, as clear, as smooth as a mirror. There was not a single thread, single breeze of wind. If you have sailed in the ocean, you know that you need wind, 10 knots, 20 knots. You need the wind to blow so your sail can take the wind and smooth and move. I remember the other year we sailed in Sicily, in Italy, and we sailed in Croatia, and it needs wind. Okay, so there was no wind for this, and we went to Aegean Sea actually. Okay, come back to the story. At last, we saw that something was approaching us. It was flashing and bobbing, reflecting the light of the sun. A floating island surrounded by walls of bronze. Surrounded by wall of bronze. I had heard stories of this place from sailors. I'd heard it offered a welcome, and sure enough, when we came closer to the guards' stop, to the guards atop those bronze walls shouted. The guards shouted, King Aeolus offers sanctuary in exchange for tales of your adventure. So a story listener, it's like they should invite yanghaiying to the king Aeolus, because yanghaiying tells stories, right? We rode through a pair of bronze gates and tethered our ship to a jetty. So they tie a rope to a jetty, to the jetty, to the pier, to the land. We were led up a cobblestone hill to a bronze palace of the mad king Aeolus. He loved to hear the stories of the world, but he would never leave his island. For 7 days and nights, his hall echoed with our tales. We filled our bellies with roasted meat. Sorry, vegetarian. The Odysseus maybe is not your hero because he eats meat. And this is quite against the moral standard of a vegetarian, I think. All this time there was not a fainted whisper of wind outside. When I mentioned this to Aeolus, he cackled and nodded his head. At last, the time had come to resume our voyage. His soldiers led our men down to the harbor. The old king gestured to me to follow him up a flight of stairs to his bedroom. Ooh, something in his bedroom. Ooh, an old man invite a young man to his bedroom. Ooh, in modern standard, there is something fishy. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? He led me to a curtain in the corner. Gleefully, he pulled it back. Ooh, ooh. I saw an alcove. Ooh. I saw a sack tied tight with a silver thong. It writhed and wriggled. The king looked carefully around. Looked left, looked right, looked up, looked down, looked in, looked out, looked here and there, everywhere. Then he gestured to me to come closer. I came so close I could taste his breath on my tongue. You. That is a little bit, He whispered, Zeus is my friend. He's in the middle of a feud with his brother Poseidon. He has stolen the winds of the world from the sea god and put them in this sack. He has given it to me for safekeeping. I am to open it when I see fit. It crosses my mind that I could let out one gust to fill your sail. With that wind behind you, you'd be carried across the surface of the sea as surely as an arrow loosed from a bow. I will give the sack to you. When at last you plant your feet on Ithacan soil, you can open it and set free the gusts and gales. You will soon be home. So the old king Aeolus gave the sack to him and told him, you know there is no wind, you could not set your sail, and you can open and get one little gasp, one spoonful of the wind, and it can set you go back home to your country, to your land, the island of Ithaca. And when you are there, you can open up the sack completely, the bag completely, and you will be set free. The wind will be set free, and you will be home. I wept for joy. How can I be more happy? The old man knelt beside the sack, and untied the knot in the silver thong. He dipped his hand inside and pulled out what appeared to be a wrestling snake of smoke, wrestling snake of smoke, wrestling snake of smoke. He opened his hand, and the snake vanished. We shivered. Aeolus pulled the seam tight again and gave the sack to me. Just a teeny tiny little bit, there is a smoke coming out. The king and I went down the cobblestone hill to the harbor. I climbed aboard the ship. I placed the sack just next to the prow on the foredeck. My men were waiting at their benches. The people of the island were lining the jetty. I shouted, King Aeolus has given me the finest gift that ever I received in my entire life. This sack holds a treasure greater than all the spoils of Troy. So Odysseus was so happy, and he said, I got the best ever gift from the whole wide world, the entire world. And this gift is from King Aeolus. His subjects cheered, and the king beamed from ear to ear. So king was very, very happy. And because he did some good things, he had listened to the story from Odysseus, the tales, and everyone is happy. The crew stared at the sack. Once we were out of those bronze gates, we unfurled the sail and lifted the oars from the water. The old man spoke the truth. The sail filled with wind. No need to row, no need to steer. It was as if we were following a path across the trackless waves of the sea. So it was just as planned. For 9 days and nights, I sat on the foredeck, the sack by my side. I kept a vigil, scanning the horizon, never sleeping, desperate for a glimpse of Ithaca. And then there she was. I knew her shape so well, the valleys, the secret places only I had seen, the terrace, the vineyard, the beaches, the outline of my beloved Ithaca. Ithaca, great mountain Nereid, great mountain Nereid, rising high into the sky, the land that gave me life. I am coming to see Ithaca. But my vigil had taken its toll. With relief came exhaustion. I told my men to wake me when at last the prow ground against the beach. I lay on that foredeck, the sack beside me, and fell into a deep sleep. So Odysseus landed. Already the prow, the head of the boat already touched the land, the island touched the beach, he fell asleep with the sack beside him. Under the sea, 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 da dee da dee da dee da dee dun, dee da da dee, dun da da dee, dun da da dee da dee da dee 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 dun. Under the sea, Poseidon saw his moment. He lifted his hand. His gesture caused a huge wave that our ship had to climb to overcome. As the prow of the ship rose, the sack beside me slid from the foredeck and landed in the lap of one of my crew. He turned to me, he turned to one of his friends and said, "Did you hear what Odysseus told that king? He said this sack contained the finest gift that ever he received. Everything else he'd shared with us. He ought to share this too. After all, we've risked our lives as often as he has. But this treasure he seems to want to keep for himself. Where is the justice in that? What harm would there be in seeing what he has been given?" Okay, one of his men got this because it slipped down. One of his men got it and thought it's not fair that only Odysseus get it. And this is the best gift. And we have sacrificed so many of our things. We risked our life with him. We should get a share also. He untied the silver thong. He pushed his thumb into the mouth of the sack. And the moment he did so, he was blasted from his bench onto the deck. He saw 1,000 wiggling snakes of smoke rising from the sack into the sky. Oh. This must be Poseidon. Poseidon had all the weapons he needed now. The sky darkened. The waves rose up around us. The sail was torn to shreds. The ship was spinning. The spinning woke me. I sat up. Poseidon spat brine into my eyes. I looked for Ithaca, but already she was so vague that she might have been just the edge of a cloud. Oh, Ithaca was so far away. I reached out across the side of the ship and tried to clutch at her, as if to pull her towards me, but she was gone. I was so seized with despair. It was all I could do to hold back from hurling myself into the waves. The north wind tossed us for the south wind to catch. The west and the east winds fought over us. Sometimes we were climbing mountains of water, sometimes we were sinking into valleys, and the sky could not be seen. It was clear that Poseidon wanted us dead. How would we ever see our homes, our hearths, our fields and farms and families again. They were blown away from the island of Ithaca.